Today's October the 9th, and sending out a bunch more super pumps this week. Sent out, what, 15 yesterday? 15. Another about that many today, looks like. So it's about a 3-guy job to do this testing, but I wanted to show you guys how we test and what exactly we do. You got Monday on that computer over there? I'll show them on the screen. So we test every single pump that we build and ship. We also do the same process on turnkey equipment. So before it goes out the door, let's say you're getting a super pump on a rig, it'll be tested as part of the equipment walk around. What's up, Sweetwater? That boy got that Dodge rolling out there. His Ford took a, I hate to even say it, his Ford took a bite, blowed it up. So we got a bunch of individual files here, but you guys can see we test and ship, and then we archive what customer got what serial number on that pump. So we know when it went out that it was right, But let me show you guys kind of the process of what we do. We build up a batch, 15, 20, something like that. Bring them down and test them. So we just got a little tote here. We got a battery box, just a battery in here, and a port. So there's nothing fancy about the test station, but we do want to run it through some hose, and a gun, so that it's going through a hose reel and all that good stuff. And then we just got a circuit breaker so we can cut it off and on, and we'll bring down a little pallet at a time, test them. Once we test it, move it over here, and then these are ready to ship out. So show you what we do real quick. It takes about 2 guys to do it, but it's just you get wet. And what's up, Justin French? Motorcycle is life. I know that guy. I met him at the convention. So we've got floor markers marked off here in the floor. Here's 60. So from here to the base of the door is 60 feet. Here's 70, and we can't really stand here because I've told you guys this a million times, but the building ain't quite tall enough. We'll hit the fan. So we usually can stand about 65, but when we spray it, go ahead, Zach, shoot it. You guys can see the power here. It will hit up the door a few feet. So sometimes we'll test them outside. It's just, we'll usually get about here on the door, which means it's, 70 plus feet. You go outside and the wind start blowing, you can't really test it. Like to do it indoors, cut the air off. Show them the, let me see. Yeah. You let off on it. We're also just archiving the pump shutting off like it's supposed to. Pressure switch, We used to try to film that it wasn't leaking, but every time we take these off, water dumps out and you get, it's wet, so you can't really prove that in court, but fire it off a few times. There we go. We'll run it. And what do we do when we run it, Zach? Somebody stands there and videos, usually you, the pump and the running and the stopping off. Before we say there's a problem, make sure we got all we introduce air by switching the pump out. So right. We're let it run all the way throughout the line. Because half the people that say they got a problem, or they get power, or it's surging, the pressure switch is surging, they don't even give it enough time to get the air out of the line. So yep. You're creating a different pressure. Yep. They don't know really even how to hook one up, which is super crazy to me because it's so simple. But why do we do that? Why do we do all this filming and archiving, and people are dumb? First thing that, there's a small percentage, but 100% of the time it's going to go to somebody and they're going to say, my pump don't work. Right. So we have to get a video archiving footage that your pump does work. Every single one of them that goes out gets tested. Am I making it up? We really do that shit, don't we? And we put this little serial number sticker on there so we know. I can pull it up and see that it was ran and tested and working just like it's supposed to, because my pump don't work as, we've been hearing that for years, even before we had our own pumps. You know, guys would call in with Remcos and Delavans and anything else, say the same thing. And I tell you guys, honestly, just an unbiased opinion, 97% of the time, it was not a pump problem. Was it? Jacob's kind of been around as we've done all this troubleshooting stuff, and it's usually user error, a big air leak. They didn't charge it, something crazy like that. Out of the 3 to 5% that was a pump problem, it was I killed the pump. I did something fucking around and roasted it, you know, and still quote a fairly new pump, but they've done something in trying to get it to run because they didn't know what they were doing. We did it the other day. I mean, it happens. You leave a switch on and you forget, and the pump's not running. And if you've got a little drip on your outbound side, the pump activates at some point. AJ, you come up here, what, Monday morning? There was a pump outside that had just been running all weekend, running on itself. Now, we took it back apart. It was on a trailer outside. It really didn't take any damage, but we went ahead and rebuilt it anyway for that guy that's getting the trailer, because what happens is if it just runs on itself with, it's not actually pumping, it's going to overheat this centerpiece right here that's got some of the guts, and there's some rubber components in there, and it'll overheat them, and then it's going to fail prematurely at some point. Even though that one was still running fine, it's injected a bunch of heat. So stick another one up there. My pump ain't working. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it could be that, but you can't really go by that. Let me jog it. So we always do this as well. We hook up the suction line. We'll run it for, well, it has to be plugged up, don't it? We'll run it for just a second and fill the chambers up. Here we go. Then we're gonna hook up our outbound line. And then we'll, like Zach said, purge all that air back out. Walk it back, shoot it across the building, and then he'll just video that on his phone. You hear all the air getting purged out. So he'll video that, and then we'll upload it to the system, and it'll populate over here on any of the computers that are connected. That way we can go back and see. Now, I will tell you guys, we are pretty much going to be current probably by the end of this week. This will be a landmark here, a milestone. We will be current and have in-stock inventory of the big pump. First time that's really happened. We've been catching up, you know, sell a few, catch up. So the Super 8s are just still a work in progress. Trying our best to get them built, but you know, it's a pre-order. That's what it is. So we've had a lot of guys get squirrely about their Super 8s. We had a guy show up last Friday, thought he was just gonna walk in here and demand his Super 8. You can get your ass whipped like that. Don't buy a pre-order item if you're not actually cool with buying a pre-order item. Don't do it. You can think about it, but don't do it. So all these are getting built up. We do have a bunch of Super 8s. They're just not ready to go yet, so all those are built. Those are fixing to be built. There's another one or two over here we got to tinker with. A couple more up here getting built up. So that's what it is, man. We test all this stuff thoroughly, because when it goes out the door, it's going to shoot over 70 feet, and I'm going to make damn sure of it. So, you know, there's 60, there's 70. Again, I can't stand there. I'll just hit the fan, but I'll get it about 65, and then when we hit the door over there, we're usually hitting somewhere about here on the door. So that means it's a clean 75. Yeah, these guys are wild, bro. They're like, I'm coming to get my damn Super 8. Like, look, man, I want you to have it more than you do. Trust me. I got a couple milli on the line here of getting caught up on these pumps. But when you're mass producing something and you're going into manufacturing, you're not building them one at a time in your mom's basement. Here's something we do. When we bring it down here, we tune the pressure switch. You hear that? It's jogging, and it's going to plane out and run smoothly here in just a second. And that's something, getting it to that sweet spot where it still shuts off, but it's not running and stopping and running and stopping. See, that's what you're looking for. And what you just did right here is, it's in the user manual. So I wrote a big long user manual, put it on the website. If you go to the product page, you can read that, and it tells you to do that. It's in some of the videos I've done and it's in other pump companies. You know, they'll tell you the same thing of setting this pressure switch. But if a dude don't know all that and don't try to learn and slaps that pump up there and lets it about how long is that pressure switch gonna last? A week, maybe. He's overworking the pump, overworking the pressure switch goes out, and then he says, my pump don't work. And then we say, that's what we say. I love my brother. I may just give you all of Mike and Preston's inheritance. We just don't have time for that shit. Like, you gotta learn your stuff, man. At least read the product manual. But yeah, you don't want it sitting there idling. I've also seen videos of guys, because we've got a couple hundred of these out the door at this point, I guess, probably 100 and something, I don't know, a couple hundred, something like that. We'll ship another 50 this week. So I've seen guys running 5/8 hose on this. And Todd Ketchow's in here. Todd's one of those guys that's like, he's gonna do it right. But I've seen guys running 5/8. Can't do that shit. I mean, you can do it if you want to. It's America. You can do what you want to, but the problem is this thing, it'll run 5/8, but it don't like it, and you're increasing, or you're decreasing the longevity of that motor because it's having to work harder. So it's recommended from us to run 3/4 all the way out, and it'll run just fine. I ain't saying you can't get it to run on 5/8, but look, you want to warranty all that shit? Talk to him on the phone for an hour trying to figure out what size hose he had and all. We ain't gonna do it. Shoot it, AJ. His phone was going off. Tune that pressure switch out. Pure Paseka, yes, you can do that. If you want to call in, shoot us an email. Call in's the best. Just call the number 334-863-0084. If you want to, cancel your Super 8 and move up to a 16, that's fine. We can do that, because the 16 project's been in the works about a year longer than the Super 8, which is why these are done, and the Super 8's still in kind of the last stages of getting them together. So if you want to holler in, Candy, just let Candy know what you're wanting to do. She'll probably forward you over to Jonathan. Jonathan can take care of that, and that's fine. We can do that. Ain't no problem. All right, boys. Dan Wright's in here. He got his pump last week, so they're going to be setting theirs up down in Gulf Shores. Hope you guys have a great Wednesday. Got a 200 people a second ago. Live event here November the 2nd. We're going to be barbecuing and doing some cool stuff and unveiling a new product as well that'll be in the lineup. So if you don't have your tickets yet, go over to the website, grab your ticket. It's a free event. It's not training. Don't ask me no damn questions about no soft washing when you come up here. I ain't gonna have that hat on. I'm gonna have my Monster Rehab hat on. So come hang out with us on November the 2nd, guys. We'll get back to testing some pumps. Ship a bunch out today. We'll see ya.